Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sari. You are watching my knitting podcast videos, and here's my trusted YouTube sidekick Luna on my lap. And she came here immediately when she saw that I was putting out all the yarns and my knitting projects next to me here on the bed. She was immediately here waiting for me to set up everything, and as soon as I started to film, she came here on my lap, and now she's taking the full advantage again. So if you are new to my channel, I'm a knitwear designer from Finland, and I make these YouTube videos. I've been trying to make this now every week, and today I'm going to make a bit shorter video because we are going to go out soon. There's some nice winter weather outside, so it's Saturday, so we want to go out and enjoy the weather. So I'm trying to keep this a bit shorter today and just share with you what I've been doing this past week, and also what I've been knitting lately. And this week the work days have been really full of pattern writing. Just said a while ago that most of my days as a knitwear designer go to sitting at the computer and writing a lot of stuff, and that's what I've been doing again this week. But I hope that I will soon be able to do more creative work during my work days as well, but this week has been just brutal text editing and going through edits from my tech editors. I used two tech editors, one for my English patterns and one for my Finnish speaking patterns, and this week has been mostly going with the Finnish patterns. I've been writing the last patterns for our knitting book that is coming out next autumn. I think quite many of you already know that I'm writing a knitting book with my friend Erika, and I'm taking care of the knitwear design side and the patterns, and Erika takes care of the visual side, so she does all the layout and she has taken all the photos and so on. So that's the book is coming out next autumn, and at first it's coming out in Finnish because we are using a Finnish publishing house, but the publishing house is part of international publishing branch, or a bigger company that it's a branch of that, and they have publishing houses in Sweden and in Germany and so on. So there has been a lot of talk that the book will come out also a bit later in Swedish and German and English, at least, maybe some other languages as well. But I really can't talk to you more about the book yet or show you anything that we've been making. I'm really looking forward to the time that I can start talking about it more. But now it's kind of like a public secret, so everybody knows I'm doing it, but I can't really tell you exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing this week, writing the patterns and going through edits from my tech editor. And also yesterday I started writing out the pattern for the Adelita vest, and I made all the charts, or finalized all the charts, and fixed some math issues that I had, and I'm going to still think on Monday finalize the pattern. I still have the back of the pullover, not the vest, to write, and then it's ready to be tech edited, so I'm hoping to get it out for test knitting very soon. And after that, for next week, I have still one pattern that I need to write for the book, and then there's the Lumme pullover next to me, almost ready. So I'm going to write that pattern, and the pan cardigan. So those are my jobs for next week. I'm not quite sure if I can do all of them in 1 week. It usually takes me a couple of days per pattern to write and do the math, but I'm hoping to get it done quite quickly. And after that, I think I have like the biggest load of work done, so I can start concentrating on new things. So I have quite a lot of new interesting things planned that I want to get started on. I have a few amazing collaborations coming out, so I'm really excited to get started on those. And I have already started a mass of new things, so I will show you what I've been making. But here on my needles, this is my what appears to be a forever project. I don't know why this is taking me so long. Maybe because I had to rip back so much and restart, and I've mostly just been knitting this on the bus, so I haven't been so actively knitting it. So maybe if I would just spend one evening with it, then it would be ready, but I have more interesting things to work on, so I'm saving this for the boring bus rides. So this is a new version of my 2x1 ribbed hat. So it started in a bit of the same way as a toe-up sock, and then there are increases, and then it's just ribbing, like knit to purl one rib to the end. And I'm going to I have quite a lot of yarn left. See here. So I think I will still continue for maybe 7 centimeters or something like that, so that I get a really big fold. I want like a not double folded brim, but at least a triple folded brim for this one. So I have some knitting still to do so that I get it long enough. And I'm using Knitting for Olives Heavy Merino for this one. This is the colorway Oatmeal. It's a really nice 100% merino, ethical. I think it's also organic merino yarn and non-newsed. So it's really nice, really beautiful, natural color. Really like it. I know I will use it a lot if I only ever get it ready. But I've been also knitting another hat. I think I showed you this in my previous video, and it's now done except for this. This is the cast on, circular cast on here, but I haven't woven in this yarn end yet because I want to photograph this hat first. So this is actually like this really long tube. So I started it here, made some increases, then knitted in a stockinette stitch until here, changed to 1x1 ribbing, and then stockinette stitch and decreases to the end. So still want to photograph it for the pattern purposes, as it is open like this. And then I just folded this other end to the inside of the hat like this, and folded the edge. So it's like this really chunky, fluffy hat, and it's amazing. I absolutely love it. And I'm going to write the pattern for this as well, but it should be very simple pattern to write. And I was thinking I will maybe put this out as a free pattern. So it's my super chunky hat. It still needs a name. I haven't had time to think about the name yet, but I think it will come soon. So those are the hats that I've been making. And of course I have the Lumme pullover, and I can't remember if I had worked the first sleeve when I showed this to you the last time, but I have the first sleeve ready now, and I added this little bit of color work to the cuff. I was just going to make this part first, but then I thought that it needs a flower, so I made a similar flower to this, but in a smaller scale. So it has a small flower here on the cuff, and I think it looks really nice. It's quite a loose sleeve with loose cuffs, and it looks really nice to have it on you. So really pretty. And just yesterday evening I made it to the color work on the second sleeve, so I should be able to finish this tonight. And it also has this is the back side of the pullover, so I made one set of short rows here below the yoke to make the fit better, and then I made another set of short rows to the hem, so that it is, if you can see the difference from the front and back, so the back is about 5 centimeters longer than the front, so that makes it fit a lot better. I'm super happy about this, how this turned out, so it's really pretty, and I'm looking forward to be able to use this. So I think this is going to get a lot of wear from me. I'm using Cascade 220 headers. This is the colorway, the number is 9465, so it was called Vashon Island, and this is the Cascade 220, and this is the natural colorway. I actually bought a load of this yarn, and also, if you remember my Urban Adventure pullover, there was the pumpkin spice colorway, so I bought both of those like a sweater quantity before Christmas, and I was going to use them for cabled pullovers, but then I had this inspiration that I have to make a color yoke Icelandic inspired pullover, so I used some of them for my Urban Adventure pullover, and then I wanted to cast on another sweater, so I went to Snorre and I bought some more of this yarn, and I still have quite a lot of the natural white colorway and the pumpkin spice colorway in my stash. And what I've done, I think it was 2 nights ago, I finally did the maths for a top-down raglan cabled pullover using this yarn, and also but what I did was do the charts, so that's something that I will start maybe tonight or tomorrow to knit. So I'm really looking forward to this, so excited about it. And also another new project that I have on my needles. I casted this on a few nights ago as well. There's not much to show you yet. This was also something that I have started and restarted quite a few times to get it exactly like I want it to be. So I don't have a lot to show you yet, but it's going to be a lacy summer top. So this is the back neck, and I'm going to continue this down to the armholes and then pick up stitches from each side and then work the front and then join at the underarm and knit straight down to the hem, and then pick up stitches along the armholes to finish them off nicely. But this is just the first couple of centimeters, so I hope that in my next video I can show you a bit more how it looks like. And I'm using Tencel Merino from Katia for this one. This is Katia Concept Tencel Merino. It's a, I think I checked, it's a sport weight yarn. It's 70% lyocell and 30% merino yarn. This is the colorway 100. It's a beautiful kind of like metallic green, super pretty. So that's what I also have on my needles. And of course, my last current work in process is the new Seleste summer tea. I think I showed this one, I showed you in my previous video, but I had to I've been ripping back a lot lately for some reason. Maybe I have too many things on my mind at the moment, so I can't concentrate. I keep thinking about everything else, and then it affects my knitting because I don't concentrate on my knitting. And before you get worried, nothing. The things that I have on my mind are nothing serious or anything like that. More like I'm thinking about everything that I want to do and new projects and so on, so that I can't concentrate on what I'm doing at the moment. So I think it's a kind of a good situation after all. So I casted on the wrong amount of stitches at first, and then when I started to decrease to be able to make the pattern, I was like wondering why the math didn't add up and why I couldn't fit the pattern into the neck stitches. So I had to rip back and restart, but now I'm on my way and I really enjoy knitting this one. But for some reason with this yarn and holding the yarn double, it making the bubbles, I think it takes a bit longer than it did for the original Seleste pullover with a single wool yarn. So this is not as or at all stretchy, so it takes a bit more time to do the bubbles, but I think it's definitely worth it. So you can see here the pattern is starting to come out. You can see the first lace patterns and bubble rows coming out. And I'm using also from Knitting for Olive, and this is their cotton merino yarn, and the colorway was called Mousie Rose. And I will add all the yarn names and pattern names below this video, so you can check them out there. So I will write the names of all the yarns and colors below this video, so you can easily check them out if you missed something. I know my English pronunciation isn't always the best, so sometimes I have heard that people don't always catch the names that I say, but I try my best, and I will write them below this video so you can check them out there. So this is Mousie Rose, and it's a really beautiful, really dusty, pale pink yarn, super nice, and almost like on the side of like lilac, rather than being like too pink. Super pretty, and really like how this is turning out. So this is going to be a lighter weight version of the Seleste pullover, and because it's going to be a summer pullover, I made the fit around the bust a bit tighter, so slightly less ease, especially in the sleeves. So the sleeves will be slightly slimmer, and I was thinking about making something like this long sleeves for it. That's actually what I have on my needles at the moment, and took this here as well, so you can see started to swatch with this yarn. So I have a little swatch here, so I'm thinking about making a very basic pullover with this one, because people are always complaining that my patterns are too hard and they want something easier to start with. So I thought that I will make an easier pullover for you to start with and get to know my pattern writing style. And I also have to say that even though my patterns might look complicated, such as this one, they rarely are that complicated when you really start to knit them. So I try to write out everything in the pattern and provide links to tutorials and so on, so they shouldn't be as hard as they look. And this is Borstet Alpakka from Sandnes Garn, and I use the same yarn for this hat with an added strand of mohair. And this is the colorway 2650. It doesn't have the name of the color on it, just the color number. It's a really nice yarn, and I think this is a really good yarn for a beginner, because you don't really see the stitches. So it doesn't really matter if you have a slightly uneven knitting style, knitting handwriting, or if you make some small mistakes, because you can't really see any details in this fluffy yarn. And I'm using 5mm needles, so it should be quite quickly done, so it won't take forever to knit either. So that's what I'm planning on my needles. And just shortly at the end, just telling you that I have added 2 mitten patterns to my Ravelry store. These are the Kainoruusu mittens, and they were originally published in a Finnish magazine called Taito last autumn, and they are knitted with Suoma single. It's a Finn sheep wool yarn from Kässäkerho Pompom, and there's 3 colorways. This is the Valko, Lokakuu and Polku. So this pattern is now available in my Ravelry store. And also, I don't know if you remember these ones. These were the very first pattern that very first pattern of mine that was published in a magazine. And I first said that it was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and then I realized it's already 3.5 years ago. So it was about this time of the year. There were calls for test knitters, calls for submissions for both Laine magazine. Laine magazine had just started out, and they had come out with the first issue, and they had a call for submissions for the second issue. And then there was the call for submissions for Pompom quarterly issue 22. It was the autumn issue in 2017. And I had just started to submit. I had made 1 submission and it was rejected for another publication. But I wanted to start doing this, so I stubbornly sent out submissions for both the Laine magazine and also the Pompom quarterly. And these were my submission for Pompom quarterly, and the Kiuru pullover was my submission for Laine magazine, and they were both selected. So actually Kiuru was the first one to be selected, and these were the second, but this magazine came out before the Laine issue 3. So these were my first pattern to be published in magazine. And the ochre colored yarn here is actually the leftovers from my Kiuru pullover. So in that sense as well, these are like sister projects. And these are called Herati mittens, and even though I had the pattern rights back since 2018, I have kind of like never had the time to rework the pattern and do the layout and publish it as an independent pattern. Every time I like started to think that okay, now I should do it, then it's already too spring, and I think that okay, I will wait until next autumn to publish it, and then there's always something else and I forget, and now I realized that I should just do it, so it's now also available on Ravelry. And for these ones I used Knitting for Olives Merino, and the colorways are dark ochre and putty. And these were actually inspired by Art Deco wallpapers and like the Great Gatsby books, especially the ones with the simple like geometric pattern on the cover. I think they're all from Penguin books. They have like this really nice covers, like white with gold, like this scallop type patterns, and also black, just like black cover with gold geometrical shapes. So they're really nice. So they were the inspiration behind these mittens. But now I have gone through everything I took here with me on the sofa, and this sweater that I'm wearing, this is the Sade pullover that I made last autumn. I used Ritual Dye's Elder yarn, and the colorway is called Chestnut. And my test knitters are almost ready with this test knit. So have already taken photos of this pullover as well, so this is coming out really soon. I'm hoping to get it out by the end of next week, so I think this is probably my next pattern release. So exciting. But that's everything I have for today, and if you are enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel so you will always get notified when a new pattern comes out. Okay, bye!